You're listening to The Drew Yari Show.
Alright, so let's get the show going. Let's talk about NXT, and then we'll just talk about the news, and we'll just go from there. So NXT happened tonight. How it began, not Cameron Grimes, but Kyle O'Reilly coming out looking like, I guess, Orange Cassidy, or his own version of Orange Cassidy. Which is weird, because he was supposed to be, I guess, a punk rocker, and now he's Orange Cassidy. He comes out and cuts a promo, which it's not one of his stronger suits, but okay. He called out Karrion Kross, and then immediately he's cut by Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes, says, I'll manage you, and then Kyle O'Reilly puts on his glasses, and then punches out Cameron Grimes, and that's how we begin NXT, and they have a match later on tonight. What do you think about this new version of Kyle O'Reilly?
Well, his theme music is god awful, but hey, if you can rock out to that, then you can rock out to anything. And I mean, since he's going to be on his own, the whole Adam Cole feud is behind him. Maybe they'll revisit it, but for now, it's on the back burner, so they got to start building him up. The promo was, I don't know, like I was interested to hear in what he had to say. Like I was intrigued, because we haven't heard from him since, after the pay-per-view. And it was just so, like I was interested, but I was like, oh man, like he's not a good promo. But I mean, Cameron Grimes, to go to Cameron Grimes, he saved it, and there was a little bit of comedy at the end. And I think that reference with the glasses, when he like put them on, took them off, put them on, it's most likely a They Live. But I don't know. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too much into it, but it was kind of funny. But the whole promo thing was not his strong suit. I think he should try to just keep it in few words or less.
Right, because, again, I like Kyle, but it's just, I don't know what this whole gimmick he's doing, which is, I'm going to be the funny, quirky guy, but at the same time, I can also kick your ass or stretch you out. I really don't know where this is going. Yeah, the theme music I'm not a fan of. Just the Undisputed Era theme is just, it was good. Because it was just like it was a theme you can bop your head to, and now with him, post Undisputed Era, I'm not a fan of it. I really don't care for it. Him and Adam Cole, it seems like maybe they could revisit it because we forgot to mention last week, they showed the hospital footage, quote unquote, of them being sent to a local medical facility in Florida. Where, Adam's on a gurney and Kyle's on a gurney. You just hear Adam, yelling, I'm going to kick your ass. This isn't over. I'm going to beat your ass, blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know when they're going to revisit that. But I'm assuming it's soon. But as far as Adam Cole goes, I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know if they're going to keep him in NXT or send him to the main roster, which it's kind of one of those things where as much as you like Adam Cole, you want to see him succeed, but you don't know what they're going to do with him on the main roster.
Right.
But
it's uncharted territory, basically.
Yeah, you're right. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, Adam, pick up a weight. Pick up some weights. Or, I don't know. But I guess we'll get to the Karrion Kross thing later. So,
yeah.
You got Dexter Loomis versus LA Knight. First match of the night. Pretty good match between these two. I mean, it was these two kind of look evenly matched. I mean, LA Knight seems like he's maybe a little bit more thicker as far as like body mass goes, but I like these two wrestling. I like this match a lot. Here's here's one thing that John Draper pointed out that I thought was kind of funny. How are we supposed to believe that Dexter Loomis is into Indy Hartwell?
Yeah, it's kind of out of nowhere. Like, I felt like it should have been built up more. It should have, like, this is what I mean. And a lot of the people in the IWC that just ask questions like, wait a minute, like, why these two, like, are a thing or going to be a thing or could be a thing? Like, why? Like, there's no explanation. And people are just supposed to just roll with it. So that's why when things don't make sense, people are just like, yeah, like I just can't rock with it. I just lose interest because there's no explanation to sink you in. And I mean, listen, Indy Hartwell is gorgeous Australian woman, but we need a reason why. Like me, I don't need a reason why. Look at her. But for the people at home, for the storyline purposes, we need to know what's like between the two, because you know, you look at Dexter Loomis and you look at Indy Hartwell, like they're kind of the, you know, polar opposite, but you know, I can see them being together, but why? You know?
Yeah, because I mean, Indy Hartwell's not a bad-looking woman, but it's just you look at you look at them; they look different. I mean, it would make a lot more sense if, like, you know, Dexter was going after, you know, like Scarlett, but
yeah,
you know, they're not going to touch. They're not going to let Dexter and Kross, you know, be a feud. I'm assuming, you know, maybe sometime later in the line, but it's just odd. I mean, because again, I don't want to be rude, but it's just Indy's kind of she's kind of average looking, yeah, at best. She's definitely not ugly. I mean, I think she's a very attractive woman, but I think she's very average. And you try to make a sell in the fact that, oh, Dexter is attracted to her. It's like, really? It's kind of like, you know, with it's kind of like Diamond Dallas Page, you know, being obsessed with Undertaker's wife Sarah, or his ex-wife Sarah. It's like, Diamond Dallas Page, who was married to Kimberly, who was an ex Playboy playmate.
Yep.
But he's attracted to Sarah. It's like, I'm obsessed with you. I can't live without you, Sarah. And it's like, really? We're supposed to believe that? So
came out of nowhere. Yeah, like it just came out of nowhere. There's no explanation. Maybe like she was in the back, and you know, Diamond Dallas Page was, you know, just maybe the way that the light hit her got him, you know, just curious, and you know, he became infatuated with her. I don't know, but it's just things like that. Like you're using things from the past, and it's good because this isn't the first time that this has happened. Like when things like with Kane, with Kane and AJ Lee, that kind of makes sense. But then you have this doesn't make no sense at all. Like absolutely. So there has to be a story behind it. There has to be a little bit more meat on the bone with this. Like it really does. And yeah, like the you know, the dynamics, just the looks and dynamics don't make sense. I guess the people who are booking this don't really know how to pick women. I don't know. I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's just, yeah. I think at the end of the day, it could have been booked better, but, you know, it is what it is. But, so Knight wins with a distraction from Hartwell. And then after the match, it looks like Hartwell and Loomis are about to kiss, but the Way comes out and, you know, takes Indy away from them. And that and escalates to a backstage thing where, whatchamacallit, Austin Theory said he he went to. If I seem like I'm out of it, I'm really sorry. Just
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
I did some yard work today, so I'm just trying to
Oh,
keep my composure. So yeah, Austin Theory said that he went to Mr. Regal, William Regal, and let me backtrack. So the backstage interview, the blonde girl, I forget her name. She's interviewing Indy about what was going on with her and Dexter. The Way come in and cut the interview off. And then Bronson Reed comes out and says, I think Indy and Dexter can make a good couple. And they're talking shit back and forth between him and Johnny. Austin Theory gets between them and says, me and you next week, and if you win, you get another title shot at Johnny. I talked to William Regal. He said he's okay with it. And then Johnny's saying, dude, what are you doing? He just beat you last week, and
squash it like a pancake. He said.
Exactly. And then I'm just I'm fast forwarding through this segment. So Indy Hartwell and Candice are walking in the back, and she's trying to get her head in the game, and they're about to go confront the women's tag team champions. While that's happening, Dexter is behind this very convenient plate glass window, distracting Indy, and Candice is about to go talk to the champs. And then Indy gets distracted, and she's not really taken, but she goes to Dexter. And then she confronts the women's tag team champions, calls them idiots, talks a bit of shit, and then I think it was Shotzi that said, maybe we should ask Indy what she thinks. And then Candice turns around, notices
and she's not there.
Yep, she's gone, and she knocks out, what was it?
Candice.
Candice knocked somebody's drink out. I'm forgetting who. I think it was
Ember.
Ember, there you go. She knocks
Ember,
Ember,
yeah.
She knocks Ember's drink out of her hand, and then they proceed to take her into the. I don't know if it was the bathroom or the locker room, and just beat her ass. She comes back, and she tells her what happened. She tells everybody what happened, the way, and Austin Theory says, "Well, I talked to Mr. Regal, and you and Indy will be getting a tag team title shot next week." And at the moment, Candice just does not give a shit. So we got that to look forward to. We got a pretty interesting looking show next week for NXT.
I am looking forward to next week's show, and that's fine because not every show can be a hit. Like, you got to have shows that lead up to bigger shows, and I think that with wrestling fans, we tend to just be a little bit ungrateful. Like, just like with any series of television shows, dramas, animes, what have you, miniseries, you had to have some filler or just some low points to get into the crescendo. So I'm looking forward to next week's episode of NXT.
Right, because I remember I was watching the show, and it's like it was like half like I was a little out of it because I'm just like, wait, how many main events do we have tonight? And then I realized, oh wait, yeah, it's just Kyle and Cameron, which we'll get to. But next week we got Bronson and Austin Theory, which Bronson wins, he gets another title shot, so we got that to look forward to. And then the women's tag team championship match, which is a rematch from Takeover, and I think there was another match added, which was there another match added
to next week?
Yeah, because I know it was just 2 matches, and then there was another match added.
It was a 6-man tag. It was a 6-man tag between Gala Phantasma,
right,
MSK, and Kushida, and Bronson Reed and Theory, and there was a third match. But it's definitely a third match there. Dakota Kai and Mercedes Martinez. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Right, there you go. So next week it looks like a pretty stacked looking show. All right, so next we have a segment with Io Shirai, saying that she's taking some time off. She's been champion for almost a year, pretty much, Frankie Monet comes out and interrupts her, and pretty much does like the backhand compliment, saying, well, if you're taking time off, I'll take your spot as the new head, the head woman of the NXT Women's Division. Io gets up and talks shit in Japanese, and then says, I like cats, and then just walks off. And then Beth Phoenix was there, and it was a funny little segment. Frankie, so like, is Io really gonna take time off, or is her next big feud gonna be against Frankie?
I mean, if they're gonna have Frankie Monet have if she's gonna feud with someone, I feel like it should be Io Shirai, because we know Io Shirai is gonna get her rematch, and we're just waiting for the impending demotion that is the main roster. And I mean, God, it's like you look at Raw. Don't look at Raw, but if we're gonna look at Raw, that's the worst place. SmackDown's okay, slightly better, but still, but don't look at Raw, please. Just watch any of the podcasters that review Monday Night Raw. Like they deal with the pain, like eating Chipotle. It's really good, but it's gonna come back. It's gonna go out the other way.
It's like that episode of South Park where like Chipotle makes you shit blood.
Yeah, it's watching Raw. It's like watching Raw. You just the most horrible thing you can think of. Just shitting blood, pissing blood, getting a root canal without no anesthesia. That's like watching Monday Night Raw. That's terrible. This is terrible. But I hope Io Shirai goes to SmackDown, because at least it's better. But when you compare really moldy orange to a really sour apple, it's, again, they both suck, but the other one is somewhat okay to look at. The other one's just gross. So
I think she'll be better on SmackDown, partly because I think somebody pointed this out, and we'll get to the releases later, but
yeah,
the SmackDown Women's Division, I think there's only like 7 women after the cuts, and also Asuka's already on Raw. So, and this isn't this isn't really a racial thing, but I don't think they would want 2 Japanese women on Raw. So just
no, absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, Raw would be Asuka's show, and then SmackDown would be Io's show. So I mean, and also I think it'd be smart to just keep those 2 women away from each other, in the eventual, matchup that the dream matchup that we all want, Asuka versus Io. And if they're smart, which I mean we all know they're not, yeah, that's your matchup. That's your eventual WrestleMania match or SummerSlam match or Survivor Series match. That's. I mean, can you imagine how fucking crazy people are going to be at the Rumble when those 2 meet up for the first time? People are going to be chanting Asuka, Asuka, Io, Io. So
yeah.
I mean, just Io on SmackDown is a much better choice. Let me. This is kind of off topic. So, with Becky eventually coming back, what do you think is the better choice for her to go back to Raw or her to go on SmackDown?
Oh man, I mean, I think since she had to relinquish the title, the Raw Women's title, I think she would want to go back to Raw. They will have her. That show needs it. I think Raw needs something. Like, it needs a lot of things.
Right.
It needs a lot of things. Like, we can make a list. Like, if we made a list of the things that the main roster needs, it will be its own show. But what I would suggest, I'll have Becky go to. I'll have her on Raw. Like, normally it will matter because if a talent is married to another, then they will be on the same show. But since the performance center, the Thunderdome is in the same spot, so they're not traveling, so they don't have to worry about that. So they could have her be on Raw for a bit, and then when they start touring, eventually they'll probably put her on SmackDown. But for now, I'll just have her on Raw, and I guess just have two of the horsewomen on Raw, and then the other two on SmackDown. Because having three, I feel like too much. And if you can have EO on there, I feel like it's going to be too much. But that'll be a good match. EO and Becky Lynch. That'll be a good match.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a lot of possibilities.
personally, I think you should put Becky on SmackDown because when you look at Raw seems like it's very stacked as far as like the women's division goes. Because you have Charlotte, then you have Rhea, and you have Asuka. You bring Becky back in, she would kind of maybe be lost in the shuffle, which is kind of weird to say because it's Becky.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They'll figure something out. But so let's get back to NXT. So there was that Frankie Monet thing.
Oh, I didn't answer. Let me finish answering the whole Frankie Monet thing, and
go ahead.
I think that it will be a great feud. It'll be a great feud for her because, of course, Io Shirai, she's one of the best on the NXT women's roster, and of course you have Frankie Monet, and she's been all over the world, and she's wrestled many opponents, held many titles, so that's definitely something that's definitely a good feud to that I would like to see. Just two good women's wrestlers just have at it. It'll be a little bit comedic because the whole dog that spot was still just at least it seems like it's house trained, so that's a good thing. You have to worry about just shitting on Monet's hand like randomly. So that will definitely bring the ratings up. But as far as a good first feud, I think this will be it. Just a good introductory feud. But we'll see. Start of something, and EO, if she's going to take a little bit of time off, maybe not too long, I hope, but I'll like to see this feud though.
Right. Because I'll be honest, I haven't seen her work or Frankie's work in Impact Wrestling because it's Impact Wrestling. So I can't really judge her too much. All I've heard is nothing but good things. As far as her name change goes, I know a lot of people, of course, were pissed off about the name. She got out in front of it and said, "Hey, it's just a name, so who cares?" And I think was it Jordan Grace had said, if you actually know Taya, then Frankie Monet makes sense. So maybe it's because I think she said that she chose the name, so maybe it's like a nickname or like a rib or something. But hey, the women's division is only going to get bigger and better because we got that new girl, which we'll get into in a bit. I don't know what your thoughts about her are, but again, we'll talk about it. But hey,
I have a lot to say.
Yes, so did a lot of other people. But yeah, Io and Frankie Monet would be a good matchup. It'd be a good rub for Frankie. So, but next match is Grizzled Young Veterans versus Breezango. Kind of what you thought how you thought it would go. Typical tag team match. I like Breezango. I like that they kind of had a shot in the arm, coming back to NXT. I like Tyler Breeze especially. The Grizzly Young Veterans, I'm not sold on them personally. I don't know if it's the name or the talent, might be both, but to me they're just very generic in my opinion. What did you think about the match?
The match was pretty. It was pretty solid, but and of course you have Breezango, you have the GYV. They're good talents, but the thing is with Breezango is that they have a gimmick, that personality. They come out and wear just crazy get-ups just to get under people's skin and whatever. But the Grizzly Young Veterans is not much there. It's just their throwback old school, which is cool. But I mean, at least, like for me personally, at least have a little bit more like oomph when you talk, a little bit more personality. Um, to me, it's just like and they're good. Like I can't stress that enough because they're good talent. That I wish the main roster had this tag team division here. Lord knows, but
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, it's just generic, not much there, and good wrestlers, but that's not enough sometimes. Like you do need something to help stand out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because that's pretty much it. I mean, because you look at Breezango, if you take away that gimmick and you just have him come out as Tyler Breeze and what is it, Johnny Curtis? Is that his name?
Yeah, Johnny Kurt. Yep.
Yeah, just Johnny Curtis. It's like, oh, these are really good wrestlers, good tag team. Bleh. You
Yep.
know, they have a gimmick and at least makes them stand out, makes them entertaining to some people. Not all people, but some people. The Grizzly Young Vets, a good they're just good wrestlers. There's really nothing interesting about them. So I mean, again, maybe that's the reason why. That's just my opinion. They're not my cup of tea.
Right.
So what should we call it? The Grizzly Young Veterans get the win as they should. Moving on. All right, so the debut of Sarai, however you say her name. So they did a segment where she's coming, to the arena, and William Regal welcomes her. Zoe Stark, welcomes her to the building. Says, I'd like, to wrestle her tonight. And William Regal asks her, do you want to wrestle Zoe Stark? And Sarai says yes. So Sarai comes to the ring. I mean, a good match, but it's just like, okay. So everyone knows I'm not a fan of this guy, but I gotta give him credit. JD from New York
Yeah.
had said, I'm just paraphrasing that, she was okay, but he's kind of done with the whole Joshi wrestling thing, which I wholeheartedly agree. I'm not a fan of the whole Joshi wrestling thing. And before anyone says, "Oh, well, you like Io Shirai," I'm like, Io Shirai is not Joshi wrestling. Io Shirai is a badass. Io Shirai is like, I guess, like the punk kind of goth, Japanese girl. Asuka is a kick ass. She goes out there and she kicks the living shit out of people.
Stiff. She's very stiff in the ring. EO's very, high flying, just daredevil. They're not. They're not. They're not. Joshi.
Right.
I feel like everyone puts all Japanese women in a column or in a category. Like, oh, just they're Japanese, so they're Joshi. No, like Sarai is a quintessential Joshi wrestler. And listen, her match was I enjoyed the match, but I feel like this is kind of sort of just the whole Joshi thing has run its course. It really has. And listen, everyone is fans of JD, but with this point and a couple of others, he has good points. Like he makes sense here. Like I feel like once people got exposed to Japanese women's wrestlers and Joshis, then we just had to overdo it, right? We just have to we got to have sign every one. Listen, she's talented and she's a great addition. It's like we just need more. I'd rather have women like Zoe Stark if because people are like, oh, calm down.
Right.
Relax.
And it's just like, it's kind of like the conversation we have where it's like, can we stop with the tiny guys? Can we get more big guys in? Can we get, Titans in? I mean, can we at least get guys in that look like they can beat the shit out of you? It's like, same thing with the women. We need more women that actually look like women and not do the whole, Riho thing. Riho, again, another example of the Joshi wrestling style. And as much as I'm not a fan of her, Sheeta's not a Joshi wrestler. Sheeta at least, looks like an athlete. And it's just, again, I don't mean to shit on the girl or anything, but it's just like I wasn't really that impressed. This isn't really something that I'm just going to chalk it up to it wasn't for me. You know, the whole Joshi wrestling schoolgirl thing is for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
I don't know, just again wasn't for me. I wasn't that impressed. I thought she was okay. I thought maybe if you're going to be debuting a new talent, they should go over maybe a little bit more quicker rather than it being a competitive match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, Zoe Stark, I like her. I think she's talented, but she's been eating a lot of pins. She's basically enhancement talent until they find something for her to do. Yeah, I mean, again, again, the match was okay. I wasn't really that impressed by Saray, so I mean that's pretty much what it comes down to. I'm kind of finished with the whole schoolgirl thing, but obviously, right. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. What was I gonna say?
No, I was kind of finished. What were you gonna say?
Okay, yeah, no, I'm in a total agreement. With what you said, we just need to get out of this. I feel like, I feel like this is like a trend or fad that people can't get over. And listen, there are a lot of talented, Japanese women's wrestlers, Mexican, American, European, what have you, even ones that are in the Antarctic. But at the same time, a little, just a bit more, less, just more, less of this.
Less is more. Exactly.
Yeah. Just less is more, but we need that point pushed more. So we need just a little bit more of that less is more, because people tend to just overdo it. They're like, oh well, we signed Asuka many years ago, then we got Io Shirai, we got Kairi Sane, and now we can't help ourselves. AEW has the Joshi women, and it's like, just as a whole, they just need to slow it down. Bring women, just different women in there. Same thing with the men. Bring different men and instead of these tiny guys, because oh my god, Vince, I know he has a thing for tiny dudes. I don't know what that says about him, but it's just.
Well, I don't really think it's Vince. I think it's Triple H doing that.
Yeah. Well, for the main roster, I mean, for the main roster. But I know with Triple H, it's different for Triple H.
Well, Vince has always been about bodies, and I think Triple H, I mean, with Triple H, it's one of those things where we kind of have to give him credit, and then we have to kind of take something away from him, where it's like, yeah, he's signing these talented people to the roster, but it's like, I'm pretty sure Triple H has people telling him who to sign. We can't picture Triple H going, hey, did you see this new talent out of GCW? I'm pretty sure he just sees somebody out of a wrestling mag, or he sees somebody that has some buzz. We can't picture Triple H going, hey, did you see this new guy named Kevin Steen? He doesn't look like me, but he's talented. Give him a contract. I mean, we kind of have to call a spade a spade. So
yeah,
but I mean, it's good that he's signing these people. So I don't know, but after the match, Tony Storm came out and attacked Stark, and had a stare down with Saray. So I guess that sets up Saray's first big feud. If RJ, I'm pretty sure RJ was happy to see that.
I was happy. I'm happy to see Tony Storm whenever we can, and especially in that outfit. Sign me up. But it's like, oh man, it's just like with Tony Storm, you have someone sign like Tony Storm, and she hasn't done much of late. And then you have Zoe Stark, that she's impressive. She can definitely absorb a lot of punishment, but a lot of these smaller women's wrestlers can't. And I feel like you do need a little bit of contrast to, for that style of wrestling, that stiff wrestling, because not everything can be cartwheels, jumping jacks, things like that. You gotta have some hard hitting matches in that. So I did like that. Zoe took punishment, and you're right. It shouldn't have been as competitive as it was, but it's like you could have put an enhancement talent against a Saray, and it would have put the same point, and then have it to where like maybe Zoe is like, she's it's just something that she's trying to get her attention or whatever, just to build up to something. But you just have her lose, and she's a good wrestler, but you're just gonna have her lose and eat the pin all the time. Like it's just gonna make you care about Zoe Stark less and less. And same thing with Tony Storm. You have her like at the third wheel, as a third wheel in these feuds, not giving her a sense of direction. And again, people are not going to care. I mean, we will because it's Tony Storm, but it's going to matter at the end of the day.
Right. And again, and that's RJ's girl, Tony Storm. It's like, she's kind of put in the same category as like someone like a Pete Dunne, where it's like they push him and then they de-push him. They push him and then they de-push him. So I just... And I like Tony Storm. I know a lot of people aren't fans of hers, but I like her. I think she could be something, at least. So I don't know. Only time will tell. So, I mean, unfortunately, it looks like she's going to have to eat a pin for this Saray girl, so I really don't know. That breaks RJ's heart, his poor little heart.
Yeah.
But next match is the Cruiserweight Championship. You got the new Cruiserweight Champion Kushida, who's doing his open challenge. Out comes Oni Lorcan. I mean, they had a pretty good match. Kushida wins by submission, and then afterwards, Legado del Fantasma came out and attacked Kushida. MSK came out to even the odds. And the faces stood tall in the ring, so that sets up the 6-man tag for next week. I thought it was a pretty good match. It's funny because they did for the men what they probably should have done for the women's match for Saray, where you just had enhancement talent. You had someone from the women's division who's on the same level as an Oni Lorcan, where it's like make them look good, but don't make it look too competitive. But right. I mean, what do I know? But yeah, I thought the match was pretty good. What'd you think?
No, the match was great, and also we noticed that Kushida changed up his footwear. Like he's going for like the whole MMA route, and they brought up commentators. They brought up the fact that he was 8-0 in MMA in Japan. So that's something that's like really useful information right there. Like I wish they would have like brought it up a little more, not too much like they do on the main roster. They get something and they just bash it until it dies, but just bring it up a little more. Probably they did, but I was just so focused on this match, and it was just back and forth. And of course, with the with what happened after the match, it's set up for next week with that 6-man tag as MSK came to even the odds with to help out their boy Kushida, and I'm like again looking forward to this match, really am, and good match. The segment afterwards was good. It helped, and it set up something. Usually, you just have a match, something happens, and nothing is set up. So it's refreshing to see. We need more of this in wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because Kushida's hot off winning this championship. So it's like in Zoolander. He's like Hansel. He's hot right now. So yeah. you want to treat him like he's hot. You want to treat him like he's Hansel.
Yes.
and eventually you get the rematch with him and Escobar, which we're looking forward to that. Next we got Imperium versus, which was Marcel Bartel and Fabian Aichner, who had was Alexander Wolf with them, against Everrise, or as we call them, Dollar Store, Young Bucks. Which, again, I didn't care about this match. I mean, it's. I'm just going to be honest. It's just, I don't care about Imperium when there's not Walter. That's the best way I'm going to put it. I mean, because Walter, the talk is Walter doesn't want to move to the States. I mean, he'll come to the States when there's a match, but as far as actually living here, he likes living overseas where he's at. So, makes sense. But other than that, I said on Twitter, Imperium without Walter is like chocolate chip cookies without chocolate chips.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, boy. I'm just going to say this. This match was blah, and we needed, again, Walter, Imperium, synonymous. You have that. You have one without the other. Well, you can have Walter alone and he'll still be good. But if you have Imperium without Walter, it's like you said, it's like, cookie without, chocolate chip cookie without the chocolate chips, like you gotta, it's just, oh man, it's so boring. Actually, tuned out. I was like, oh no, Walter, okay, just gonna use the bathroom right now. I'm just gonna, get anything that magically had to get done at this moment right now. Get that done, because this was like one of the lowest points, the only low point of the show. Everything else was good or solid, but this was just no Walter. I don't care. And Everrise is just, what are they? Can someone tell me what are they? I mean, you explained it, but still, I just don't get the act. I just don't. If they're gonna break up a tag team, if they do, they do. They don't, they don't. But if they're gonna break up a tag team, it'll be this, because let it be Everrise, because this doesn't make any sense. Like WWE, they just have this thing where they just want to break up tag teams with them. Here you are, like this actual tag team that shouldn't be a thing. Probably both guys are nice guys, whatever, but it's not catching on.
Yeah, but they break up good tag teams. It's like it's like the shitty tag team is like, no, just we'll let them die on their own.
Yep, slowed up.
Yeah, it's just like they're great value Young Bucks. I mean, that's really all there is to do it. And the guy who looks like he's 40, one of the guys in the team actually looks like he's 40, and the other guy who looks like he's 20. It's like do you remember that what was it, that fake boy band called Together?
I think I have. I think so.
I mean, if anyone doesn't remember Together, it was a TV show, or it was a TV show, and it was a legit band, somewhat, quote unquote, where they were basically making a new boy band, and they just did the stereotypical thing with a boy band where you'd have the leader, who was a good looking guy, and then you had the bad boy, and then you had the little brother. Then you had the shy one. Then you had the older brother, because in every boy band there was always a guy who looked like he was way too old to be in the group.
Yeah,
like that. That's pretty much what it is. Like, he looks like the older guy who looks like he's way too old to be in a boy band. And then you have his little brother. Like that. I don't know. Everrise, I don't really care. Everrise is my bathroom break. It's my, ooh, let me go do this. Like, let me go do something other than watch this shit. It's just
taxes. Get them taxes done, because it's the deadline has been extended, so you got time. Hey, file, get all your documents together, do your taxes, make a sandwich, 2, 3 if you're really that hungry, but just don't watch this. Don't anything with Everrise, don't watch. Make a sandwich, do your taxes. I don't know, rotate your tires, anything. It's anything else.
Catch up on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You can do that.
That's it.
Other than this shit. So, Imperium won. During the match, Killian Dane came out to confront Alexander Wolf. Drake Maverick wanted revenge, blah, blah, blah. Next is their main event. Kyle O'Reilly versus Cameron Grimes. So, like I mentioned earlier in the night, Kyle O'Reilly talked about what his future is going to be in NXT, and he called out Karrion Kross. So before the match, Kyle O'Reilly comes to the ring, and him and Kross have a face-off, which I'm already not really looking forward to this eventual match, because you look at Kross, and Kross is just big. He is just a big motherfucker. Like, he just looks like he can just beat the fuck out of anyone you put in front of him. And I like Kyle. Kyle's, supposed to be a legit MMA guy. But Kross looks... He looks so much bigger than Kyle that it's almost comical. And I know people are going to bring up, Finn, but Finn is at least believable as a small guy. Because Finn was at least, getting in Kross's face and talking shit and calling him out. But you look at Kyle just looks so janky looking. Like he's very janky, very or not janky, very dangly looking, kind of skinny, strung out, and he's coming out trying to be comical. And while you got Kross, Kross isn't comical, he's serious. So I imagine this is going to be a good match overall, but it's just like, I'm not believing that Kyle has a chance in hell even being in the same ring with Kross. It's just going to...
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's like, absolutely right. Like, hell no. Like, this is just a little feud that they have going on. Just fresh meat, as they say, for Karrion Kross, since he won the title and he needs some victims. Yeah, I got it right. Victims. He needs some victims. And, and usually I will say victims. I mean, challengers, but, you look at, like we were saying, you look at Karrion Kross, look at, for example, Kyle O'Reilly's, it's like, victim. Like, he'll probably be good in the North American title, but of course that's being held up by Bronson Reed. So that's like a big no right there. And he's on the tag team, and they don't have another title. I mean, they don't need any more titles, but just has so much talent, in NXT. I feel like having a European title could work, but again, just so many titles that there's been undermined because there's too many in the main roster and too many in NXT as a whole. So I feel like they need to just chill out with the belt making. But you do have some middle, some guys that are in the middle of the card that can definitely take advantage of having another title to contend with, But as far as this feud, it's just another victim for Karrion Kross to get his hands on. And who do you see eventually taking the NXT title from Karrion Kross?
Ooh, that's good. That's tough. Personally, I mean, the only really believable person would maybe be Walter, but I don't know. I made the anecdote that I don't even think Kross will lose the title. I think he'll leave NXT and just give the title up.
Yeah,
almost like, I've done everything I need to do here. I'm going on to bigger and better things. Here's the title. It's kind of like with Asuka when Asuka was champion for that long in NXT. I think she got hurt and then she had to relinquish it, or I don't know.
Yeah, she got hurt. Yeah,
but I think with Kross it'll just be like, I'm on to bigger and better things. Here's the title. Let someone else be champion.
Yep.
Because to me, Kross is ready. Like, Kross just looks like he's ready. Like, to me, he's just, and I'm not trying to sound like a Kross cocksucker or anything, but it's just like, he's ready. You look at him and you look at everybody else in NXT. he's ready.
Yeah.
You put him on fucking Raw. Oh, don't put him on Raw. Put him on Smack. No. You know, put him on SmackDown. He's fucking ready. You know, put him in the same ring with Roman Reigns, and it's gonna like, okay, that looks like your WrestleMania main event. That looks like your SummerSlam main event. That looks like your Survivor Series main event. You know, put him in the same ring with Drew McIntyre. Put him in the same ring with Bobby Lashley, and it's gonna look right, and it's gonna look legit. Like, and just kind of like a sidetrack, but you know, he called out John Cena. He said, I want to wrestle John Cena. I want to retire him. And then John Cena, anyone that follows John Cena's Instagram, he'll put up like random photos with no caption, and he put up a photo of Kross. So, to me, if you want to make Kross a star, have him beat John Cena. Have him go over Cena. At this point in Cena's career, Cena doesn't care anymore. Like, he doesn't care if they tell him to put over this guy. He's going to do it. And having Cena put over Kross, like, holy shit. Like, it's like you said, the sky's the limit for Kross if he can go over Cena. Like, holy fucking shit. That's a WrestleMania match right there.
Yep.
Cena and Kross at Mania next week in Dallas, or not next week, but next year in Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, that's a Mania match right there. There you go.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully, if they go back to doing 2 nights, that can be a Mania main event.
Yep.
For night 1 or whatever. But shit, like, what do you think about the whole situation?
No, like, listen, they need to build stars, and the main roster, Vince, Dunn, Pritchard, mostly Pritchard and Vince, they've done a disservice to a lot of these guys. And, we're going to get into the whole releases, but they have done a lot of a huge disservice to a lot of these stars that came out of NXT. They break them down just because they don't know them, they don't get it. As Bruce Pritchard said many times, "Oh, I don't get it." And then when they gotta, just get all these network downloads, they got to get money in, or they just got to get more people, paying attention to their product. They can't. They don't have no one giving a shit because there's no one on TV that looks believable. There's no one on TV that's just, that will grab your attention, that will capture you, that will keep you glued in. There is not that anymore. It's just, let's just book the same matches every week because wrestling fans are idiots and wrestling fans have short attention spans. We're goldfish to these people. So you want to build a star? Want to go about just making WrestleMania must see and exciting and the build to WrestleMania. Dude, the promos between Cena and Kross, oh my god! Like I like to see the vignettes and stuff like that too. If they do it right, it can be a great feud, a great Road to WrestleMania feud. Or, SummerSlam, but I feel like Mania, you got to do it at Mania. It's you got to go big or go home with this. But they just got to start building stars for now. You have all that talent, and it's like it doesn't matter. It's going to have them sit at catering and collect the paycheck, and then, you gotta build these people. And I trust Karrion Kross will say, listen, this is stupid. Like, I'm not doing this, or we can do it this way, or we can tweak it, because there's no way they're gonna try and make him look like a fool. No way in hell. No way in hell. He's one of the few people that will actually stand up to the people up top, because how can you mess up a guy like that? Like, how can you mess up a guy like that? It's just not any, like you said, we're not dick riding, we're not kissing ass, but just look. Just look at that. But if that were to happen, I will be just glued. If that happens for next year's Mania, I'll be glued. And I know you will too.
the best way you can probably book that match, and WWE probably won't do this, but this is how I'm going to book it. So you have Kross as a surprise entrant in the Rumble. You have him come out and just chuck dudes over, just like chucking motherfuckers over the ring. And then you have Cena come in as a surprise entrant. Or not even really a surprise entrant. You'll just have Cena, come in and do his, hey, I'm back. I'm going to enter the Royal Rumble. I'm back, bitches. Or just, doing his whole Cena shtick. And then you have, him and Kross, do the whole standoff. And Kross throws Cena over the ropes. And that's how you set up your Mania match with them. You have Kross, complete, week in, week out, talk a little shit, doing Cena and be like, Cena, I threw you over the ring. I'll throw you over the ropes with ease. And, Kross eventually gives up the NXT title, to Regal, like I mentioned, where he's like, I've done everything I could with this title. Now I'm on to bigger and better things. And, weeks leading into, Mania, you have Kross just running through dudes. Just fucking up dudes. And you keep him and Cena apart until at least maybe the month before Mania. And there you go. And of course, at Mania you have Kross go over. You have to have Kross go over. If this is leading to a Mania match with these two, Kross needs to go over, like without question. Yeah. And again, Cena's at this point in his career, he does not give a fuck. He doesn't need a win. He really doesn't. He's here. He's here because he wants to be, and he's also here as a freebie. He's also here pretty much on a discount. So that's how you book it. You have Kross enter in the Rumble as a surprise entrant. So that's how you would book it. I don't know how they would book it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll have just Cena come out like maybe 2 months before Mania and be like, hey, I'm here and I'm back at Mania. And then, Kross comes out and just says, hey, I haven't forgot about you. So I don't know. But again, that's easily a Mania match. Main event, whatever you want to call it. But we forgot about NXT. So yeah, Kyle O'Reilly and Cameron Grimes had a good match, as expected. Overall, the show was not very good. It kind of was what it was. What'd you think about the main event?
The main event was, Cameron Grimes, the fact that we were annoyed, he was just this annoying, this weird gimmick that he had, but we started, with Cameron Grimes, started to get him and to root for him, and he got over, and the fact that he's on the main event of NXT, it shows that they really have faith in him. Most people won't even be, they won't even sniff a main event of NXT, let alone a takeover. So of course you have him there with Kyle, and it was a good match, but he's, of course, good dance partner, as they say. Just someone to wrestle with and be like a pseudo comedy relief. And I like his entrance music. He's one of the few that has good entrance music. I get it. It's catchy. Unlike Kyle, which is, oh God, it's if it'll be a sin if they put that theme first before any of the other good ones that they haven't released on the official YouTube or on iTunes or on iTunes to purchase. That'll be the most ironic thing. A theme that is bad as O'Reilly's, they're just gonna put up first before the good ones. But the match was okay. NXT as a whole was just set aside a few matches and segments. It was just blah. It was uneventful. But next week, it's to build up for next week's show. So next week will be much more. It'll be more meat than bone. and I'm looking forward to that. For next week's NXT than this one.
Right. Yeah. Next week should be a good show. Yeah. Tonight was. It's funny because you can tell that they don't really care about ratings now that they're on a new night. Pretty much unopposed. And your main event is Kyle O'Reilly versus Cameron Grimes. Whatever. I mean, as Triple H said before, we're doing what's best for NXT. We're not really trying to compete with AEW. It's like, okay, well, you're on a night by yourself, unopposed. So let's see what you can do. And they give us this. So, and also, I get it with Kross. You don't want him to constantly go out there and wrestle because it's kind of like the old school thing of keep your make sure your world champion is a, what's the best way to put it? An attraction. Your world champion needs to be an attraction. It's like what Cornette, paraphrasing what Cornette would say. You don't need to always go out there and have the the main event a WrestleMania match. Sometimes just let the people be happy that they're seeing you.
Yep.
You want the people to crave you being there, and then when you're finally there, they're ape shit. So, and also Kross doesn't need to constantly be in every single match. Let Kross have the night off. Let Kross go on there and talk a little shit, and then have him be available for your big event, like the world champion should be. You know what I mean?
The Drew Yari Show.
Hey guys, this ends the free portion of the show, but if you want to listen to the full unedited version of this, make sure you head over to my Patreon. For just $5 a month gets you stuff like this as well as new and original content.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari. It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.
The Drew Yari Show.
It's Drew Yari.